not only have we had improvements, incredible improvements in achievement, and I think that certainly you can't underestimate that. That's very important. It's a fact of life, as Deming would say, but it's not enough. I mean, certainly we need to prepare students to do well on high-stakes testing, which is becoming more and more prevalent. But that's only a baseline in terms of what we owe students, and we owe them preserving that joy in learning that they enter a system with. We owe them the ability to follow their dreams. We owe them the ability to function well after school, that in fact we're giving them tools so they don't need us anymore, that they're very independent learners. And that's certainly much more difficult than scoring well on a standardized achievement test.
The visual I ask people to do is to think about their own kids or their nieces or nephews, or even whenever they were a little kid. It was that first day of kindergarten, and that first day of first grade, that first day of school, whatever school was for you. And you've got that little backpack on, and that excitement that's just palpable. Just that kid just exudes excitement for that first day of school. That's what we're after. You capture that moment, okay, and then flash forward after they've been in our system for 12, 13 years, and the last day of school. And what kind of excitement for learning do those kids have in that time frame? From that moment when they were so excited to the time when they're exiting our system. My vision for Leander ISD is that students exit our system with the same passion for and joy in learning they had when they entered our system, without economics determining their success. If we could bottle that excitement that the kids have when they start school, and if it just imagine, instead of, frankly, what happens now, I mean, in our system, in systems across the way, that declines, it dissipates, it goes away till the end. They're like, oh, can't wait to get out, right? What if we built it? What if we, at minimum, sustained it? But what if we increased it? What if they realized that the further they got in our system, the more they got to learn about the things that they wanted to learn, and they had more ownership in learning? And so I delineated it a little bit further, and I said, so what does that look like? It looks like that we need to personalize instruction to the greatest extent possible, differentiated instruction, student ownership of learning. What does that look like? It looks like that we need to use technology in a whole different way. That technology, we still have this notion of technology being this silo that sits aside and is just something we occasionally plug into, when in fact technology is the pencil of our times. Technology just is. When a pencil breaks, people don't call the pencil department to say, how do I fix this pencil? You go and sharpen the pencil. You know how to do that. Same thing with technology. Technology is just a tool for us to do those things, to accelerate some of those things that already exist. And when we recognize that our focus is on student learning, that our goal is to at least maintain, if not increase, that joy for learning kids have when they enter our system. And when we recognize that we need to, it's our job then to personalize and differentiate that and have students own that learning, that's what's going to set the course for the future of Leander ISD.
I think that Leander is knocking on the door of understanding what it means to transform that relationship between teachers and students, and students and students. And it's been a long journey, but to truly realize what it would mean to have students owning their learning, if I could look into the future and think that 10 years from now we had students in every classroom at every level who you could sit down and interview, and they would know exactly what it is they need to know, as well as what they want to know, their personal passions, as well as what they need to know just for the given expectations of state curriculum, and that they could set goals, they could monitor their own progress, that they felt very comfortable in looking to other people for those resources. The teacher certainly being important resources, but but they had that ability to truly own their learning, and they were doing it with a great deal of enthusiasm and excitement for the learning process. I mean, learning's exciting. Learning's exciting, and somehow we take that away by schooling. It seems a little absurd, but we do.
I think whenever you take all of those things, whenever you take our focus on students in the classroom, and really looking at what are they doing in the classroom, how are they talking to each other, what is the work that they're creating, and you take this vision that we want to build student ownership in learning, we want to build student joy for learning, and you combine those two things. That combination is what's going to propel this school district to transform public education.
It would be easy for us to become satisfied with what we're doing. We have gotten to a place where we have lots of systems and processes in place that support high levels of student achievement, but we have so far to go in terms of really seeing a system that empowers students to own their learning, so that when they leave our system, that we know they're entirely capable of figuring out where they want to go, what their dreams are, and having fully equipped to be able to realize them.
What I want to do is transform public education. I want to transform the vision that public education has in people's heads. That unfortunately, public education has developed this vision in people's heads that's just ugly, and we've brought it on ourselves. There's a systems problem with it. So what I challenge principals when we meet with them about twice a month, I'm constantly saying to principals, guys, all I'm about is transforming public ed. That's all we're about in Leander ISD. So how are we going to do that? I truly believe it's this combination of these two things is what's going to propel us in the future to transform public education.